Have you failed at anything in your life? Great, then this podcast is for you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to the Elevate from Failure podcast. I am your host, Jan Smith, and today I have Karolina, who is a mental health expert. We're going to chat to you guys about burnout, about what self-care actually looks like, what burnout looks like as well when it goes unchecked, and many other things kind of around that. So welcome to the show, Karolina.
Welcome, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. And if this is the first episode that you guys are tuning into, this is the Elevate from Failure podcast. We discuss mental health, neurodivergence, and entrepreneurship all on this show. All right, so Karolina, welcome. Thank you for coming on to my wee podcast, as we say here in Scotland. So please let us know your background, where you're from, and what you provide for people, and all that good stuff.
So, just to explain this accent that's not going anyway, I'm originally from Poland. Currently, I live in the United States, and that's probably going to be my final destination for last 18 years. My background is vast. I have a master from University of Warsaw in psychology. That's a 5-year program, and then I have a PhD in physical therapy from Academy of Physical Education in Warsaw. But that was a long time ago, about both of those degrees, about 20 years ago. So for us 20 something years, I've been either helping people, teaching people, or developing people. So, and growing and learning with all of that. I specialize in neurodiversity, burnout, and entrepreneurship. So your podcast is actually perfect for me because I predominantly help neurodiverse business owners to get out of the funk and chasing all the squares and get systems in life
Mhm.
that are both based on neuroscience as well as a little bit of common sense.
Yeah, it's so funny and kind of not funny how that common sense goes out the window when life happens, when we're so focused on, to be honest, making money, not just, bills and everything and our kids if we have them, but preparing ourselves and our businesses for the future. So I think especially in the US and even a little bit here in the UK and maybe parts of Europe, um, it can be kind of easy to kind of neglect ourselves, whether that's physical or mental or what have you, when we are busy, when we're with anything, whether we're an entrepreneur or a student. So can you maybe talk about what burnout really looks like, what it can feel like, and kind of the science behind it? Because on social media and stuff, I think it's a buzzword, like, oh, don't be afraid of, or like be afraid of burnout, or these are the self-care tips. But yeah, what does it actually look like, and what is the science behind?
So burnout is currently a catchword for good or for worse, but what's burnout is basically an extent, the tail end of extreme stress, prolonged stress.
Mhm.
So I'm going to put on my professor hat for a second.
Mm.
Um, Humans are designed to withstand stress, but we think with our internet, AI, and everything else that we are the most freaking sophisticated creatures on Earth. And reality is that our bodies and our nervous system is the same as it was when we were a caveman. So when you were a caveman, you went hunting, you experienced stress
Mm.
because you either were chasing a saber tiger or a saber tiger was chasing you. So your body was designed to elevate, right? So for a shot, it was designed to say, "Uh-oh, watch out, here we go." Pump that adrenaline, pump that cortisol, pumped all of that.
Mhm.
And then you went and hunted the tiger or fought the tiger or you ran away from the tiger and you had two outcomes. Either you won or you became a dinner. If you became a dinner, you didn't really care anymore. If you didn't become a dinner, you went back to your a cave, and you had time to get down from that.
Mhm.
because you had fire and you went to sleep and you had your clan and you did all of that.
Hmm.
Well, if you think about how we very intelligent creatures design our life currently, is that we are constantly facing the tigers. So what used to be a system design for one time or a short period, because it was cyclical, right? You went next day and this again. Now we are bombarded by it. And if you have one of those lovely devices and you don't learn to disconnect from it, it's basically 24 freaking 7. If you are a business owners and you have staff and you have also, if you are the middle management or you see, it's constant. Someone constantly pings you about something. You experience that stimulation for that stress constantly. You're
Hmm.
going driving down the road and someone cuts you off. That's a stressor. That's a stimulant for
I
that.
do not
And
miss commuting
you
far.
open an email and your kid's school just sends you 5 things, an event here and an event there and whatever. That's another stressor. So you
Hmm.
are surrounded by those little tigers, but those little tigers in a pack add up. And what happens when you add up is that your system goes up, stays up, and that's when the burnout happens because it's not designed to fire on all cylinders. I don't know if you still drive manual transmissions in a car. I know that in Europe they a little more popular than in States, and
Yeah, it
States is
is.
basically hard to find
I need
them.
to learn.
But it's like driving on your RPMs very high on your engine constantly. That's not good for your engine and it's not
Yeah.
good for your transmission. So we need to learn how to downshift.
Hmm.
And internet is great. It gives us ton of pointers like better time management, this and that, or take vacation. We started with that. But reality is that you can't get out of burnout or prevent burnout without systemic change. And that systemic change has to happen on your personal level, on
Hmm.
your family and on your business, and then truly culturally.
Hmm.
You were correct that probably more United States than in Europe, but I work with some executives, some international businesses from Europe as well. And it's the same because we are global,
Yeah.
of constant go, go, go.
Everybody has to work.
Everyone, and I will tell you this, when you global, it's even worse. Right now, you are what, 6 p.m.? It's 1 o'clock for me. So, so it's a it's even more because now your day stretched. I live on East Coast,
Mhm.
New York time zone near Boston. If I have clients in California, that's 3 hour difference.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. So now your stimuli time is even wider,
Mhm.
right? And when do you decompress? Because now you have part of the team on one time zone, the other on the other. So it's not easier. It's actually harder for those executives that work internationally
Mhm.
that and they fly back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem much, but it actually taxes your physical body. Flying does tax you a lot.
Mm.
Just the pure radiation is about the same as your dentist office radiation when you fly. It's actually higher. People don't talk about it, dehydration and all of that. So you're
Ah.
constantly putting an extra layers of stress on your body,
Mm.
and sooner or later the body breaks. So you ask me, how does burnout look like? It can look different for different people. Some people have immune compromise, they become allergic, they become some people become mentally exhausted, they have brain fog. Some become nasty,
Mhm.
that inner witch comes out. Like, why did I just snap on my kid for no reason, right? Some
Yeah.
people give up. If you push it really far, you hit that collapse of your nervous system. Um, I don't want to go into another neuroscience lecture on how that works, but
Mm.
when you are in a green and functioning, the next step is fight and flight, right?
Mm.
And behind that, above that, is the collapse. It's that, if a tiger eats me, I don't want to feel the pain, so I shut down all my systems. You may have a heart attack. You may be depressed. You may have zero motivation, or you may become more aggressive. So the question is, how does it look like? Looks differently for different people. But
Mhm.
what you need to do or remember is that you are the master of your body and you know yourself the best.
Mhm.
And you are the one that needs to check in and say, hey, this is not me. Like, who the hell is in this mirror? Whose behavior was that?
Hmm.
And why is this going on? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling, both mentally and physically?
Hmm. Yeah. So how do we change this? Because yes, it is up to us, but then if it's like kids growing up, like they might not be exposed or like care about taking care of themselves that way. So should there be like a mandatory class in like every school at some like at age 12 and then like a mandatory seminar for every company, that type of thing? Because like this is like
It's
it
funny
could
that you say.
yeah.
I think realizing how your neurosystem works should be a mandatory part of health education in any school in any country. Is it going to happen? More likely not. I've been around for a little longer than you probably, so and in education system as well.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a tricky question because it's depending on a person to person. So
Mhm.
if you look from the very high top up here, we're looking at systematic change of culture. Believe it or not, 55% of executives are burned out. They
Wow.
are burned out. Currently, and those are like new statistics, currently about 70% of employees are burned out.
Oh my gosh.
So people keep doing this because they need to pay their bills, they need to do this and that, right? So some of it is hard to change because it's the culture of corporate attitude of productivity and everything being measured by how much can we achieve, right?
Mhm.
If you go to Greece or to Italy, the speed of life is much different,
Yeah.
even in the northern countries. Like it's 1 o'clock. You want to do what? Yes. Yeah, no, come back at whatever, right? Because they value different things. So the first change, I think, it's the hardest because it's the systemic change
Yeah.
in all of those systems. I started to homeschool my children last year. They are ahead academically,
Mhm.
but the amount of busy work and the amount of stress
Mhm.
for 12, 11, 9-year-old, I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
what are we rushing through? Like academically, they 2, 3 years ahead of schedule,
Mhm.
but they have so much busy work without the time to decompress. So that brings us to the family unit. What does your family value? And if you don't have extended family, it brings us even lower. Your circle of friends, who are you hanging up with?
Mhm.
Is it a constant? I hang up with a lot of business owners, and we stopped having conversation about profitability and all of that and shifted into how can we support each other, what's needed, what can we cut down and
Mhm.
not add to that plate anymore. And then on your personal level, it comes back yet again to what are your principles and what are your values and what's more important.
Mhm.
And that can also become tricky because I'm personally myself type A, and I work a lot with type A's
Mhm.
who like to, achieve and more and all that. But I had to learn through my own journey that you can do all of that with less. And sometimes, most often than not, less is more.
Mhm.
So, other than being proud that your calendar has no briefing room, I'm making an exception for you. I normally don't work Friday afternoons. I have a half a day that I don't do anything. Just
Ah.
so today is a special kind of extended work day.
Oh, thank you for
But I took yesterday afternoon. Because of that, I took yesterday afternoon off. So
Mhm.
I look at my schedule, which looks like a colorful boxes,
Mhm.
and I have my business, I have my children, I have my self-care, and is it balanced? Are the all colors balanced, right?
Mhm.
So what do you value?
Mhm.
Where does the time go, and how do you structure that? But even more so, are you aware of those signs? One of my very dear friends, who is also a clinician, she has this sign in her office: listen to your body whispers so it doesn't have to scream.
Ah.
So, are you listening to those whispers? of, maybe you moving slower, maybe it takes you longer to wake up, maybe you craving sugar more, maybe you are tired, maybe your fuse is a little shorter,
Hmm.
or are you waiting for that freaking bomb of cardiac arrest, of broken marriages, of, big extent because now the system is screaming. So bring it back to you because the only thing you can change is you. You can't change people around you, and changing systems is extremely difficult,
Hmm.
um, especially if the system doesn't really want to change. It, you can start that change with you. Are you noticing those signs in yourself? And are you building the life that you desire with understanding that your body and your mind have limits? And I know that's damn hard because I've had to learn that.
Hmm.
I used to do a ton of sports. 10, almost 10 years ago, I was in a severe car wreck that I was basically told to accept my new reality. It left me with a severe post-concussion syndrome and a whiplash. I'm still in rehab for it 10 years later.
Oh my
The
God.
difference is that now the question is, can I ski, can I horseback ride, and can I fence again? Versus, can I drive a car and can I be a functional human being?
Hmm.
Um, and I was told that that's it, accept my new reality. This is not going to change. I was recommended to go on a permanent disability. I very politely disagreed with the doctor who was telling me, who happened to be a neurologist because of my background. And I said, I think with time I'm going to get better. And I did. And I'm getting better every day. But it's taxing for my type A, go, 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 I want it freaking now personality.
Hmm.
Um, and I had to learn to listen to my body because before that I could push my body. I could push my body. I went to sports school in Poland.
Hmm.
We were trained to push our bodies beyond the capacities. That's what you do in sports.
Yeah.
Um, and I've had to learn that if I do that, my body shuts down. Like if I get my heart rate too high, it takes away my legs.
Hmm.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Or, I will do something fun that I should not have. But then I'm incapacitated for a week. I will have a headache, I'll be nauseous, I'll be dizzy, I will have a brain fog. So now you're becoming, is it worth it?
Hmm.
It's almost like with eating processed sugar. Yes, it feels good for the 5 seconds you're eating it,
Hmm.
but is it worth the inflammation in your body afterwards? By the way, I love your cat.
It's not mine, it's a
He's amazing. You're a she.
that's Luna.
Luna. Hi,
Hi.
Luna. My two are somewhere hiding right now. But we should have a cat podcast interview.
Oh, we should.
Say
Yeah.
something each other.
Oh,
But yeah, so that that's my take on it. That you have to really learn to listen to your body and listen to your systems and constantly check in.
If you're an entrepreneur, you can do a lot on your own. But with a reliable team on your side, you can go even farther. I'm the owner of Brody Blog, and we are a full service marketing team. Whether it's increasing sales for your business or making sense of the analytics from Instagram, Facebook, and so on, we can help grow your business, therapy practice, or charity by developing a strategy with the media channels that align with your highest goals. Whether you want to take your business to new heights or have a passion project that you want to transition into a business, having the right team will help you to reach your goals while actually saving you money. For a complimentary consultation, send us an email at this address and follow us on these social channels. Thank you for tuning in to the Elevate from Failure podcast. Now, here is the rest of this episode.
so can burnout look like all of a sudden coming down with um what like an inflammatory type of disease type of thing, or can it also look like binge drinking and like kind of
All
creating
of it.
or
All of it.
having some type of addiction? Because I think like in like here in not just Scotland, but but here, like many parts of the world, like there's a big drinking culture and going out and kind of letting loose. But you can be burnt out and still do that and
So you
have
would not believe how many high functioning alcoholics are there in managerial positions. because that's how they decompress. So first of all, alcohol is a depressant. So when you are wrapped up, you want to take the edge off.
Yeah.
So you reach for a depressant. Interestingly, the culture is changing. All the stats from all over the world is showing that drinking is going down because there's more and more awareness of how much this is not beneficial to your world, including the old, 10, 20 years ago, they will tell you that drinking one glass of wine a day is good for your cardiovascular system. Now they say it's not.
Do you think it is like good?
No, it's not. It's not because you always have to detox from it. So yes, it opens up your vessels and all that. It does all of that, but you still have to detox from it. So now you're putting more strain on your body. So again, kind of like with that sugar, right? It's a short-lived relief, but you're not solving the freaking problem. You're basically putting a band-aid
Yeah.
on a bleeding shotgun wound.
Mhm.
You may not soak your blouse anymore, but you're still having a bleeding wound. So, and to answer your question as far as autoimmune is very stress related and very trauma related. Your body is so wrapped up in a constant fight and flight that it now attacks itself. Same goes from, when I used to teach at university, somehow miraculously, there were always a flu pandemic around midterms or finals. And I'm like, okay, people say it's the season. And I said, BS, because why is it that it's the same in the fall as it is in the spring?
Yeah.
Right? And that's because now you are stressed. Let's be honest, majority of students cram at the end. As much as we like them to study, throughout the semester, most people do the med dash, right? So you do that med dash for 3 weeks, your body is taxed, now your immune system is down. So you catch, and you're coming into campus with multiple people, so you catch whatever is flying. And what normally your system would defend against, now because the immune system is taxed, you're not. So now you have people getting sick. It's the same with interestingly, the personal connection and the slow interactions and feeling of safety ups your immune system in a positive way, not in the allergy way, but in the very positive, supportive way. So yes, to all of that, all of those can be sign of burnout. All of them are definitively a signs that you're not taking care of a main problem. I coach a lot on executive functioning as well, and I always laugh because if my cupboards in my kitchen are starting to be spotless, and I despise cleaning cupboards in the kitchen, I have to ask myself what a cow is sitting in my office that I don't want to do. Because avoidance is a beautiful thing, right? So if I am doing a cleaning task that I despise, to the point of having them perfect, what am I avoiding in my office? And it's the same with drinking. If I'm drinking, it's one thing, and I personally don't, but, like I haven't had a drink probably in 11 years or 12, 13, since my daughter just turned 12. So 13 years. And, it's one thing to have an occasional drink, but if you constantly have to drink on a Friday night to unwind after the week, check yourself, right? If you have to go to the pub and take that edge off.
Like if you feel like you have to, not because you want to see your friends or whatever, right?
Yes, but
that could also be a way to relieve burnout, to be like, yeah, I want to party, or
Well, so I understand where you're coming from, because the distinction between addiction, most behaviors and more social studies and psychology, where is the pathology starting from the norm? Most of it is a spectrum, right? So is going out for a drink twice a week with a friend still a norm, or is it an alcoholism? So it becomes, I have friends who always said, I don't drink. The only reason I drink because I go to those functions and I have to. And I say bullshit, because I go to the same functions and I don't drink. So no one kicked me out of them yet, right? But maybe, and that it may be changing a little culturally, but even 20 years ago, some of my mentors were like, but I have to, because it's culturally expected. I think that shift from that top view has changed, that if someone says, I don't drink, you don't get this. It used to be like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, you know, what's wrong with you?" Right now, it's like, okay, you don't drink, especially the generation, I
It
think,
is
even
definitely more accepted.
the one after that. But like for Excels and, you know, and for boomers, it was like, it was socially unacceptable to say no.
Mm.
But then, can you stop?
Mhm.
So if I don't drink, or have I changed my behavior? I remember in college, I went to the horseback riding camp. It was for students. Everyone was legal age. And I spent there a month. And I basically drank a little bit every night. And I didn't drink almost at all. I was always the sober one. But I
Mm.
caught myself coming back from there that I went to dinner with my father and I ordered wine.
Mm.
And even my father was like, "You're drinking wine?" Not because, you know, I was over 21, so even in States I would be able to do it, but it's like, and I called myself like, wait a minute, why am I ordering alcohol to dinner?
Mm.
Like I've never, like it's so out, but now it becomes a habit. Now it becomes a crutch.
Mhm.
So, and that's the same with everything. Do you need, if you have to run on Red Bull and coffee, eh,
Oops.
oops, right? I have my little taste of orange tea here, but
Oh, nice.
zero caffeine in it because otherwise I wouldn't sleep. But do you have to, you know, I have clients who run marathons, and one of my questions usually is what are you running away from?
Oh gosh.
Um, and I'm not saying that running marathons in general is bad or that it is, but if you are already an executive who is extensively busy and then you added that to it, and
Mhm.
this is the only way you can release stress, that's your pure fight and flight. You are doing the flight, you know, because you can't sit with what's in front of you or sit with you. Can you meditate for half an hour before you go nuts? Most of my clients, no, not for half an hour.
Mm.
Um, all of that is, you know, all of that can be. It doesn't have to be a burnout, but all of that requires checking. Like, am I doing it because I truly want to do it from time to time?
Mhm.
Or is this now wagging, you know, the tail is wagging the cat, right?
Mhm.
Who is in control? Is that behavior in control, or are you in control of that behavior?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good point about people who, or those who maybe might be too obsessed with like working out even or something like that, even though it's perceived to be a healthy thing. So I do want to talk about taking breaks and how a lot of or sometimes we can't always take a vacation, or even when we do go on vacation or holiday, that could even be overwhelming because of the flights and the packing and the itinerary and wrangling everybody else, or if you're a content creator, getting the content. So are so how beneficial are breaks? Maybe how often should we take one? Whether it's like, do we like block off time every single day, like for 30 minutes to just do something like go for a walk or something? And are those maybe more beneficial than taking a vacation?
So I'm a big proponent of a healthy routine. I
Mhm.
meditate first thing in the morning. I have a BEMER PMF device. I start with that. That's kind of my coffee.
Mhm.
And then I land up for at least 20 minutes on it at night as well.
Mhm.
It improves your circulation. If you want to learn more about it, just hit my website. But if you know, as far as vacation, I'm a huge fan of conscious breaks during the day. So I go as far as I will not sit for longer than an hour. I
Ah.
make a point of getting up and moving.
Mhm.
The high performance research, and interestingly, I don't know if this is the same in Scotland, but in Poland, when you are in school, a class period is 45 minutes. And it's been like that forever.
Uh-huh.
Like even my parents who are in the late 70s and 80s, you know, like it always been 45 minutes. So I'm assuming they didn't know why they did it. It was more of an experiment of what worked best, and they end up on 45 minutes.
Mhm.
Well, now the research shows that we can truly hyper focus for 45 minutes. After that, it goes down. So you get the kids for 45 minutes to sit in the desk, and then you let them on the hallways and they go nuts, 10 minutes, and they come back and do it over. For
Wow.
my adults, I recommend that, if you drink a lot, and I'm going to take a sip here,
Mm.
usually your bladder is going to recommend that you get up every 90 minutes because it takes about 90 minutes for your fluids to filter through. So if you drink enough, you will get up every hour because your body will want to. So those are the micro breaks. I'm a huge fan. I live kind of like in Scotland near Boston. So days now they're getting longer, but the days are short. So grab that sun first thing in the morning. I'm blessed with a German Shepherd that I need to take out in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Business. She wants to go at lunch, so at least I'm getting some sunlight. And by design, because the dog wants to go out, even when it's cold, just go for 10 minutes. You can multitask. So, for example, if you are a working parent like I am, when I take my child somewhere and I have to wait for an hour there, I go for a walk. Sometimes you even may catch me recording live on Facebook while I'm doing it. But you don't have to complicate it. You can sneak in those micro breaks throughout your day. Then let's get it to a bigger scheme of I'm a big fan of making a change or shutting down every 6 to 8 weeks. So maybe taking a longer weekend every 6 to 8 weeks. Now, much easier to do in Europe than in States. Europe generally has a lot more long weekends than States do, but it's durable. And then I recommend that at least, every half a year or once a year, you go on a longer vacation. And the difference between Europe and States is that in States, most people take a vacation for a week. In Europe, it's more of a 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And again, Europe wins. Because if you think about it, and I had to convince my husband, we have a trailer, RV trailer, big one, and we go.
Oh, nice.
And I proved to him that by the time you pull, you park, even with a little unpacking, and you settle down, you basically, if you're doing a week, you basically now have to pack back. Versus when you do 2 weeks, your body has a time to decompress because you're losing a day on that front. And you said flying, right? If I've traveled with my children, we just went to Barcelona and did the cruise on Mediterranean Sea. It was 11-day trip. It was lovely, but the before and after, with 2 children and suitcases and everything else, it's like, okay, did I have everything? So you want to have that middle. If someone tells me fly to Europe from United States for a weekend, I'm like, you nuts.
People do that.
Your body's gonna get okay, when I was 20, that was appealing. Now, not so much. Your body is gonna get a hit just from the traveling. So that's not really, that's you're changing the scenario. Yes, you're learning something new, but you're not really allowing physical body to rest. So I'm a big fan of small breaks. I'm not a huge fan of the medium breaks, like a week that requires traveling. If you want to do home staycation and just relax and do something fun for a week, awesome. And the thing about that is also this, that you have to have good systems in life and in business, because if you don't, after you come back from that vacation and you bury it under the weight of everything that haven't been done for those 2 weeks you were away, doesn't make sense.
That's good to have a team if you can to delegate. Like,
yes, right. So you don't come back to 100 things that have to be done now, and now you are right away basically increase the stress to maximum. For business owners, there's this test, and there is the very friendly version on it and not so friendly. It's called the bus test. I personally prefer a cruise test. And it goes like this. If you get hit by a bus today, would your business survive? For me, it's if you went on a cruise for 6 months, would your business survive?
Wow.
Right? That's the more friendly version. Meaning, are you the business, or do you have a business that operates and is capable of operating without you? And we can take the same concept into family systems. If you got sick, knock on the woods, and you were taken out of that system, for a month, 2, 3 months, would the system collapse? Or
Ooh,
do you have the system done in such a way? So basically, is everything on you? Or did you build a system to support you? That's what
yeah.
it.
Which is definitely a recipe for burnout if like we maybe like don't want to delegate somehow or can't or something like that, or we just want to do everything ourselves. So yeah, it is important to scale in every part of your life. Yeah. So we have about 3 minutes left of this lovely episode. Really quick, where can people find you, Karolina? And all of her information, website, socials will be in the description box below. But yes, where can people find you? And if you can give like a 30-second tip, please do to kind of finish up this episode.
So you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on my website. I have programs from group programs to high-end one-on-ones. I also teach other coaches how to do the work that I do. And my one tip is this: listen to your body. And remember that this is a marathon. You cannot sprint from it.
Mhm.
You have to pace yourself through your life. Otherwise, you're going to burn out really fast and not finish.
Mhm.
Um, so listen to those whispers. So the body and your mind and your systems don't have to scream at you to take notice. That's my biggest tip.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that so many people can relate to this, and I hope that those of us who maybe say, "Oh, well, I'm fine, I'm not burnt out," but then those things creep up of like maybe I am kind of looking to something to ease the tension or ease the stress, or maybe I'm kind of getting sick, and it's kind of a repetitive thing. So it is really important that we pour into our own cups. Before we're completely empty, and that we take those micro breaks as well. And then and I think that's actually great, because if maybe we can't afford to take a vacation or something like that, or we can't afford to take a week off, having those micro breaks, it also kind of like lets us accept ourselves and kind of gives us more compassion. Um, and also it helps to prevent burnout and kind of get us back to equilibrium, so to
And
speak.
communicate clearly, even with your boss, if you're working for someone, they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So if you are on a verge of breakout, and if the boss says, so what, then probably you should look for a new, right? If they don't value your health and your wellness, then obviously that's probably not the safe place to be in. But yeah, communicate with your family members, communicate with yourself. Sometimes we want to be so tough, especially ladies.
Mm,
We want to be the world savers and we want to push all of it. But have that ability to say, hold on, I need a break.
mm,
It's okay to take a break.
mm. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Carolina. Again, all of our info is below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below with any questions or comments. And thanks again, Carolina. It was so great to have you.